You bet.
Yes.
Shake it out.
Ow now. Brown
Brown
cow.
cow.
Coming live. Yeah, we missed the expo. It's fucked up.
I blame. I never got like a, hey, by the way, this weekend's the expo, so we both gotta eat this one.
I know, we both did.
I didn't think of it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the best podcast in New York. This episode of the Assassin Cast is for the week of September 9th, 2018. You're making me laugh. Holy shit. All right, I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by the legend, my good friend and co-host, Daniel McCarthy.
What's good, ladies?
Take a bow, take a bow. All right, and in this episode, we'll be going over the following topics. And before I even start, we are like super behind about a week. We're not even going to give you an excuse, but we're here. We're here. The last one got released late, so we kind of, rearranged some things. But so far, we're 2 podcasts behind for the year, but we'll make it up to you guys. We promise. We got a surprise. I'm gonna have those bloopers up soon, so that'll take care of one of the fuck ups for the last year. All right, but anyway, let's go over the topics quick. So we got first up. And if this sounds like a little bit of old news, technically it's last week, but I think it still applies. So we got Kevin Feige talks an article about not having women as a lead role for the standalone properties in Marvel. And Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is the first in the MCU, and we're going to explain why they haven't had a woman role. A woman lead role, sorry. Also, we have some terrible nudes. The badass Burt Reynolds passes away at his Florida home at the age of 82. Oh, man. That is a sad one.
Yeah, it is.
So we discussed some of his movies and what happened. This one, I think we're going to rip apart. We got The Nun. Actually does decent at the box office. God.
It's not surprising, though.
It's not surprising, but it's a terrible movie. So
horror movies always do good.
We'll go into detail on that, and we'll discuss why we thought it wouldn't. That's what I put on there.
Yeah.
All right, and then here's a topic we haven't got to yet over the last couple weeks and last podcast. Bond 25 has had a rough start so far. Idris Elba will not be James Bond, and as of a few weeks ago, it turns out that there is no director either. So we're going to explain that situation. So that's for the movies. And then later on in gaming, scalpers are going more crazy than ever. And it turns out the Spider-Man Edition PS4 Pro is being scalped for close to $900.
Man.
We'll talk about the fuckery.
We can talk about that game, too.
Yeah, we can discuss Spider-Man a little bit. I don't want to go too much in it because I kind of want to see it for myself, but we'll talk about it. And then and some interesting news out of Capcom this week. Last week, sorry. It turns out Yoshinori Ono, the leading man behind the fighting game division, has been moved to another division. And we discuss why that might be. We also got an in-depth look at Microsoft's Xbox One X enhancements of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Turns out you'll still have a nice-looking experience in 1080p, but we're going to discuss the differences. And the last topic of the list, wow, Nintendo Switch makes it back to the podcast. It's been a while, but we got a leak of the week. Wow, it's been a couple podcasts.
Yeah, you don't really see Nintendo that well.
And this one's coming directly from Nintendo. It usually happens. We got the title of the next Yoshi IP. It's called Yoshi's Crafted World. We'll talk about how the leak happened and if they're destroying the property. So that's this week's podcast. Any news in your world besides losing in fantasy today?
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football consuming us here at the Assassin Cast.
And loving fucking the Jets after their week 1 and now cursing them after today.
Oh my god. And the Giants are right behind them, apparently. We're already down 10 as of the beginning of this podcast. So who knows? I might be throwing this coffee cup right at the 4K television by the end of the podcast.
Jesus.
Probably. Sorry. Not too much news in my world. Work has been good. We've been slammed. It's now the beginning of the year. So that's where we are the most busy. So you guys got to bear with us a little bit. That's why we've been having some issues getting these podcasts out on time. And unfortunately, we missed a video game con in New Jersey, the Meadowlands.
Just brain farted it, really.
Right. We just had some scheduling issues. We would have been there if we would have been on top of it, but we weren't. So honestly, I don't think the next con isn't for a while. The big one in Portland is in October, but we won't be there. So I got to look at the list. We'll see when we can get out to the next one. So that's really up for the news. Let's get on with this. Let me pull up this first one here. Okay, so I'm looking at the gaming section. All right.
So yeah, it's a Brie Larson and how they're going to actually put a leading woman in a role.
All right, so Kevin Feige was talking in an article about not having women as a lead role for any standalone property that has to do with Marvel until Brie Larson for Captain Marvel. And what's interesting about this is if you think about a standalone woman role for a Marvel movie, you would think Black Widow. You know, she's been through the whole Avengers, like she's been there from the jump, even from Iron Man 2. So you would think that would be the person to start with, but they had other ideas. I think what he was saying in the article is, in the beginning of Marvel, when they first started putting this whole cinematic universe together over 10 years, you know, they were planning this out accordingly, and they weren't sure just how well it was going to do. Hold on, I got it right here.
Well, they also were saying, too, it wasn't necessarily that they didn't think a woman could do the role. It was more about that the roles that they were going to be portraying were shit.
Right.
And the movies that they have had where they've had standalone women, it just showed you that, and it's nothing to do with a woman being the lead role. It's just that those particular movies were shit. And I think something he brought up in the article, which was great, was just look how good Wonder Woman did.
Right. And
so when you see how good something like that does, people don't care. Let's be honest. Do we give it? I don't give a shit if I go to the movie and I see it and it's like the main characters. Well, I do love Scarlett Johansson, but that's besides the point. But like if it was Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow or Thor doing Thor, it wouldn't matter to me. Right. I'd go check it out, and if the movie's good, it's good. It's that simple.
Exactly. And he says it was something to do with money. So apparently they didn't think that people were going to go and see a female-led superhero movie in the beginning. They thought that
underestimate the crowd.
Right, that's probably what it is. But, you know, these big movie companies, they don't want to take any risks. They think, like, okay, listen, if we're going to drop a budget on a superhero movie over, $100 million, they don't want to go out on a whim and end up like DC with, like, 12 million.
I always think of Waterworld. You ever see that movie with Kevin Costner?
No.
It's a horrible movie. It cost like $250 million, made like $8 million.
Oh, man. See, that's what I'm saying.
Like, those flops are big.
That's a big flop. And honestly, they have strong woman characters. They had, obviously Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. She actually was the female lead in Captain America, the first Avenger. So the first Captain America movie. And it turns out that she got a spin-off TV series called Agent Carter. Yeah. So it's not a bad idea, but it seems to be it was money. But now at this point, they have the money, they have the ability to make great superhero movies, and like you said, they underestimated the crowd.
This movie will be huge.
This is going to be big time because Captain Marvel is what I saw in a different article recently for this week. was that it's going to balance out the power between her and Thanos. So we're going to get a backstory first, and then we're going to get a follow-up with Infinity War. That's why I told you I think it's a winter release, because I know Infinity War Part 2 is May. Yeah. So something to look forward to. We will definitely give a review on Captain Marvel. It's going to be nice to see a female-led role. So for all you women out there, our women fans, we got a superhero movie for you, and she's badass. So it's gonna be a good movie. It's gonna be a good movie. So that's good. So it turns out it was money, and hopefully, they saw disasters like Catwoman in 2004 with Halle Berry. It's like a lot of female lead roles for superheroes haven't done well in the past, but this is going to be a change of pace. Yeah, but
I think it's different than people didn't want to see a female role. It's just those movies were fucking shit.
Right.
Like that Catwoman movie was so bad. It was bad. Want a standalone Catwoman movie? I want to see Michelle Pfeiffer back in the day. She played that character better. Watching Halle Berry do it, I was like, "What is this?"
Right.
It's like Swordfish, and I get to see her topless. Just quickly check into the next movie.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It was nothing. I agree.
So that's where we are at with that. Obviously, as it gets closer to the release date, we're going to get more information, more trailers. So we'll go into depth about Captain Marvel itself. But that's why Kevin Feige was talking about that this week. Last week. All right, so let's move on. Big news, sad news. Burt Reynolds passes away at his Florida home at the age of 82. So it was a sad thing to hear. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, here in New York, we have 1010 Wins AM on radio. I feel like such an old man when I put the AM radio on at work.
You are.
And, I like to listen to the news in the morning because they like to play alternative rock. Ugh.
That's not your jam?
No. Get that trash out of here. So in the morning, I just want peace. And I listen to 1010 Wins, AM radio. It's the news all day long. And I couldn't believe what I heard. Burt Reynolds passed away. This hit the topic list right when it happened. I was like, that's fucking terrible. We lost a bandit. That's the first movie I thought. It was Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, obviously, he has had many movies. Let me pull up the article because I wasn't sure if they found out the reason. I'm pretty sure it was just old age.
Dude, he's 82 years old. The guy lived a hell of a life. Those are the people that I feel like when we always talked a couple other times. When one of the YouTubers passed away, he was 18. Like that's one thing.
Yeah.
This guy's 82 years old. Like he lived a great life. So like for me, yeah, you're sad for anybody that's close to him. We're sad because you lose an icon. Other than that man had nothing to regret. He lived a good life, and it is what it is.
Right. And I picture Burt Reynolds passing like hitting a chick doggy style.
Like Boogie Nights style.
Yeah, like Boogie Nights. That's the second time that came up. Another good movie, Burt Reynolds. So yeah, I mean, I pictured him going out like a champ. I mean, obviously, it could have been just old age. He was very respected in the movie industry, and that was a hard loss. And if you think about all the losses we had for 2018, that was a big one up there.
Yeah,
Mr. Burt Reynolds. Like I said, I don't think they got us a reason why. And this is the second week going into it. Like I said, it had to have been something to do with his.
With his age, I'm sure.
With his age.
Should have been anything. Right. We don't know.
So we'll leave it at that. You get a lot of respect here at the Assassin Cast. Burt Reynolds, remember you forever. The Bandit.
Yeah.
The reason I bought a Trans Am, Mr. Burt Reynolds, right there. All right. So,
and the reason he doesn't have a license.
And also the reason I don't have a license. That's a whole other story.
No, I'm just kidding. Like your guys running from the police trying to drive like fucking a bandit. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, we ain't that young anymore. All right. So let's move on. It was sad news, but it happened. So let's move on to the next thing on the topic list, which is a whole... I mean, I don't know. I don't understand you guys out there. You horror buffs.
Told you, Ben. People love it.
This is, like, ridiculous. Okay, so The Nun actually does decent at the box office, which I wasn't expecting. I wasn't even going to talk about this terrible fucking movie on the podcast. Not at all. I wasn't going to talk about the story, the plot. Nothing to do with that. It was a terrible idea of a movie.
Well, it stems off of old ones, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like in the Conjuring universe, which The Conjuring was a good movie, all right? And they got shafted on the Amityville story, which would have been awesome because I live right here. Would have been a great movie to see. But apparently, they had this idea of a nun. I don't know. I guess it's based on a true story. I don't think so.
Somewhat. I don't know. Who knows? Everything's based off a true story to try to make it scarier.
I don't think that is. Anyway, it does decent at the box office, and I thought it was going to do terrible, and this is why. This is why it's on the topic list. You have terrible visuals, all right? I saw some of the marketing for this movie, and, like, there's so many things that are wrong with it. Like, if you want to learn how to do bad marketing for a movie, you do this. That's why I'm surprised it even did decent at the box office, because, first of all, the trailer, you couldn't follow. You couldn't get any plot from it. Like, I had no idea what was going on. I watched the whole thing.
Plot, though. You got to remember that. They got fucking people following. This is what they do. The horror buffs, like, people go the same way. Somebody, like, I've heard a lot of people talk about, like, us watching the MCU. I know the MCU has a bigger following, but I get what a lot of people be like, I don't fucking get it. Like, why am I going to see this movie? I don't want to watch it, and they don't see it. But for the same reason we do it, horror movies are huge. But again, I think why I thought it would do bad, like we've always talked, is I think this, like, this genre is just getting up so many movies that sometimes I'm like, oh, here we go. Like,
here's another one.
And we're gonna see it even more now. Get closer to Halloween. When we get closer to October, they're gonna drop. I gotta open a movie on the 31st, or you know what I mean. Right. Like, we're gonna get a lot more.
Well, we got Halloween coming out. Also,
yeah, I know, but we're gonna get a lot more than that, dude. There's gonna be a ton of movies.
Exactly. So once the end of September comes, you know that's going to happen. You're right. But honestly, the marketing was terrible. Couldn't follow the trailer. The nun that's supposed to be this scary fucking thing looked like it looked like one of those Halloween masks you bought at fucking the Halloween store that just opens up for 1 month of the year in the old models or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just bad. Bad visuals. They couldn't follow the storyline. And then, like, I heard decent reviews, and I was amazed. Like, I didn't think it was going to do that well. I thought it was going to be a flop, fucking box office bust, like we've always do. Bombs.
I know. People love that shit, man.
I guess I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong, but I still think it's a retarded fucking movie. So, I mean, if you want to go see it, by all means, go see it. Leave us a comment.
That's a movie I'll see, but not... not going to go to the theater, but we
tell that
but we tell that to our audience. We don't go to that many. I'm being honest, 100%. I'll review movies because I can stream them, and I do watch a lot of movies, but I don't tend to go to the theater as much. Like, it has to really be a movie that grabs me, like Infinity War, Deadpool 2, because I saw the original Deadpool and I loved it. Like, there are certain movies like that I'll go see that I, like, in my brain will tell me, you got to go see it in the theater. Captain Marvel, Venom, most likely for me. That means I saw like 6 movies probably total.
Exactly.
This year. I don't go that often, but
that's why you don't have Movie Pass.
Yeah. Well, it would have been fine, because if I did have Movie Pass, that's all the movies I would have been able to see anyway.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, with that being said, I guess you guys could leave a comment and tell me I'm wrong. I didn't see what the hype was. I thought it was terrible.
Dude, maybe some people want to go see The Nun and jam out to some alternative rock on the way home, Don't be a judgmental bastard. People live dreams differently, okay?
All right, I'm not trying to shit all over your dreams, guys, all right? You can listen to your alternative rock on the way home from The Nun. I will not judge you in any way. Just don't cry. If you cry, then forget it. All bets are off.
That's interesting. So last time I saw this guy cry was when Ken was putting a freaking Hadouken right into him. But that's a whole other story.
I'm surprised we didn't get that on video. That would have been great for the expo footage. Oh, my God. I guess I didn't want to film my loss, But don't worry.
Sorry, plural. Losses. Who's keeping track?
Apparently you are. Holy shit.
Worth.
All right, so we'll leave that at that, you nun fans. It's fucking stupid, but whatever. I'm wrong.
I hear you. I hear you because I'm not into them, but I told you they got a following. So
they do. All right.
Like I said, I would think it would be bad, but I'm not shocked it did good.
I'm not shocked it did good either at this point. I mean, somebody wanted to see it. I give it that. I mean, it did better than that Melissa McCarthy movie with the Muppets. So.
Oh, man. That movie was...
And I was sad about that. I wanted that to be good. All right. So anyway, we'll move on. Here is a topic that we haven't got to yet, which I'm happy we're talking about it now. But there's a lot of fuckery going on, and I'm hoping that it doesn't turn out being bad. All right. So Bond 25 has been something that's been talked about, right? Now, I see you shaking your head. I'm a big James Bond fan. I used to watch it with my father. Shout out to my dad. We used to watch it every Christmas, 20 Days of Bond or whatever it was back when I was a kid. I used to love that shit all the time. GoldenEye for the gaming section heads, big GoldenEye guy. But anyway, I like James Bond. I think Daniel Craig has been doing a very good job as James Bond. Not to say that Idris Elba wouldn't have been a good James Bond. I thought he has the swag and the finesse to pull it off, so I was behind it. I mean, a lot of people... It's like Michael B. Jordan. That didn't make it to the topic list this week. We'll talk about it next week. Michael B. Jordan is supposed to replace Henry Cavill as Superman. So, anything can happen these days in movies. All right? I'm not saying that just because he's black he can't be James Bond. Not at all. I think he would have been able to pull it off, but for whatever reason, they didn't want him being James Bond. So that's that. And Daniel Craig didn't want to come back for a 5th installment as James Bond. So they talked him into it. They finally got a Bond for this 25th anniversary or whatever it is. I don't know why it's called Bond 25. I'm assuming it's... Oh, wait, no, that was 50th anniversary in the last one.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called Bond 25, but we'll get into that later.
25th guy to do it?
Maybe. No, it was only about like 5 Bonds.
I know, I'm kidding. It just feels like there's a million guys.
Right. So I don't know how that happened, but now they lock in Daniel Craig, and then there's no director. They drop the director. So it's like you spend all this time trying to figure out who's going to be playing Bond, but now you don't got someone to make the story happen. So to me, that's a red flag. And I hope they don't pull the movie because, it's always good to have a good Bond movie here and there, to break up the years. Because, even in the wintertime, you don't ever really get a good Bond, like good movies. So it's interesting. But there's no director. So they got an actor, but no director. What do you think, Dan?
Honestly, I'm done with it all. Like, you know me. My old man and a lot of my buddies and my brother, they do love it, so I get where you're coming from in that standpoint. I know people love Bond, I get it, but I'm done with watching Bond. Like, I'm sick of it, but I won't stand here and say on this platform too that I think it'll be shitty, because I would have thought Mission Impossible was shitty, and look at how much money that made.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I know for a fact, no matter what, the name Bond, people will see it.
Oh yeah, no matter what.
As far as it goes personally, I haven't been following him. I think I've seen a few with Daniel Craig, but I couldn't even sit here right now specifically tell you which ones I saw. And I'm also not surprised he was being really hard to get, because there was a movie I watched way back. I know they're starting to remake it now, called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh,
based on book series. And he starred in that with, fucking name, what's her name? Mara something, because she's the daughter or the granddaughter of the guy that owns the Steelers and the Giants. Like, they're... But what's it called? Rooney Mara or Mara Rooney? I think something called it's her name. But then neither of them are coming back in that. But he was a pain to try and get locked up in that. He's a difficult guy to get locked up in movies.
I mean, but he does a good job. I mean,
I agree. I think he's really good in a lot of his movies. But yeah, he knows it too.
I mean, some of his movies, it depends what role he's playing. But when he came to James Bond,
he was good. I thought he was good.
He was good. It's big shoes.
Elba would have been cool. I would have liked to have seen that.
I would have liked to see that too.
Elba can easily pull that off. He's got that suave shit. Like, I think he could have pulled that off too.
Right. I think
that would have intrigued me enough to be like, oh, let me see how he does.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I wonder if that's what they were thinking too. Because you would have seen it. You're a longtime fan. You love the idea. So you're definitely going to see it no matter what. And you might have been able to pull some people out of the woodworks like me, where I'm like, you know what? Yo, you want to see it? Yeah, you know what? Let's see if it's any good.
Let's check it out. Idris Elba's James Bond. Why not? And it's
now
like...
they go back to Daniel Craig. People are there. It won't really hurt them in the long run.
No, I mean, I think he does a great job as James Bond. But like you said, you might have caught some people that were just like kind of fed up with the series to try and jump in and see the difference. And, every couple of years they switch it up. And I can't even blame Daniel Craig for not wanting to come back for a 5th movie, because when it comes to James Bond, if you've done so well as James Bond for a few movies, I feel like it's just natural for you to just pass the torch. Yep. Like, because you had Sean Connery, you had Roger Moore, and you had that dude Billy...
he was like one.
Yeah, it's something. I don't even remember.
He didn't really pass the torch. He dropped it.
He kind of dropped the torch. Yeah, I mean, that was a brutal.
And then Pierce Brosnan was doing he did like.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan did a few movies, and then obviously Daniel Craig to finish it up. So I could see him wanting to pass the torch, but Maybe to lock himself in for a new movie, that's not a bad thing either. Sean Connery did a lot before that torch got passed, so you never know. But like I said, I would have liked to see Idris Elba also, but what I'm worried about is not having a director is bad.
Yeah.
Because he started off having a vision of what he thought this movie should be like. The script gets passed around to a bunch of different people, including Idris Elba. He obviously didn't get the role. And obviously that particular director knows what he wanted this movie to be like. So now, boom, he's gone. And I'm surprised that they didn't lose Daniel Craig off this also. Because somebody else is going to come in and change the vision. So maybe Daniel Craig was like, listen, I don't want to do this. And then he saw the story and was like, okay, I could pull this off for one more time. And now you lose the director. It's like, somebody else is going to come in here and fuck this up. That's my idea. I mean, you never know. I don't know who they have lined up. I could look real quick because I know it's in the article. Let's see real fast. Oh, Jesus. I can't even. We'll have to get back to you guys on that. I cannot pull it up for some reason.
I don't think it would matter either way. It's just a matter of
either way.
It's like we'll have to see what happens. So I don't like not having a director. I totally agree with you in that sense.
I don't
not
like it.
I
don't want it to be a flop.
And what are you gonna do? Like you said, could you pull in a director that just infuriates Daniel Craig, then you lose him too?
Right.
Now you're right back where you started.
Exactly.
And then we'll see this movie in 2025 or whatever. And
by
that point, we're all not even paying attention.
Exactly. So that's the story with Bond 25. Obviously, within the weeks to come, as we hear more information, we will let you guys know because I'm going to stay on top of it. I'm kind of interested to see where they're going to go with this. Obviously, we don't know too much about the name. I'm sure there is information about it so far, but it's clearly tightly wrapped under wraps. So we'll leave it at that. And that's it for the movie section. I feel like that went kind of fast. But hey, what you going to do? I was actually, if you're signing out, we'll see you later. So now, moving on to the gaming section. Don't worry about what I was about to say.
Yeah, he just kind of cut himself off.
I just cut myself off because I don't think it's the time to talk about that. All right, so moving into gaming for this week of September 9th, almost at April. That's fucked up.
I would have loved it.
Oh, my God. All right, so in the gaming world last week, laugh it up, April 9th. All right, so in the gaming world this week, we had some fuckery going on, all right? There's been a lot of limited editions that came out within the last 2 podcasts, I want to say. We're one behind. It would have been 3. So we had the limited edition 500 million sold PS4 Pro, which would look badass, and I couldn't get one. I tried. That is what it is.
You tried, but not that hard. You fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
Don't lie to the listeners. All right.
I wasn't clicking at 100 miles an hour at 4 in the morning. At 4 in the morning I was, but not at 12 o'clock when I should have, so I missed my chance. Okay. So now I can understand that one being scalped for money because that's an important limited edition. Kind of like the 20th anniversary all gray one that matched the PS1, but that wasn't a Pro. I was actually thinking about buying one. I had an opportunity to get one sealed. I just couldn't bring myself to spend that kind of money, especially when it went for much less. So I can understand the 500 million sold one being expensive.
I feel like PS4 does this, like PlayStation, like Sony, does this a lot. Like, how many goddamn special edition Pros are there out there?
Well, there's a lot. There's a God of War one, and then they're going to have a Kingdom Hearts one, which I probably shouldn't tell you that because you'll buy it.
Well, I'll have a Pro before you. Okay, sweet.
Right, exactly. So anyway, this is what's fucked up, right? So now the scalpers are going fucking nuts. They go to Target, because I'm pretty sure it was a Target exclusive. I mean, that's what my girlfriend told me. I'm pretty sure it was at Target. They go there, they buy 6 PS4 Pros. They keep one for themselves, and then they sell the rest on eBay, Marketplace, Craigslist, wherever the fuck they can get the money for it. And it's selling from anywhere from $800 to $1,000.
And what's it go for
the Spider-Man edition? It was $399. There wasn't even a difference in price than the regular Pro. It was just a bundle.
Wow.
It was a bundle. It came with the new Spider-Man, and it had a red controller with white buttons, and it was a red Pro with the white spider symbol on it. And I was thinking about going to get it. Honestly, I was like, you know what? I want a Pro. I think the game looks great. You know, maybe I'll go and get it. And then I decided, I don't know, red's not going to really jive too well in my entertainment center, and I decided not to. Next thing you know, Facebook Marketplace, $700, $900, $1,000. So I got this for you right here. Can you see it? Can you see it clear?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, they always do that. You always talk about it.
Right. So now these scalpers are taking advantage of you, the gamer. You, the people.
It's ridiculous, man. That they even get away. I hate that. Like, honestly, you shouldn't be allowed to buy more than one.
Right.
Just simple it out. Because anybody could come in there. Why are you buying two in the first place? Like, if you could give me a rational reason why you need two, there isn't one. Like, you know what I mean? There's no reason. Oh, I gotta buy one for myself and my paralyzed kid. That's the only. You know what I mean? Or something like. But there's nothing you would even say that you could believe.
Because all right, so this is what happens, right? So now they go and do this, and then they put it up on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and Craigslist, right? And then it inflates the market. So now everybody thinks that, okay, I got this Spider-Man edition, so let me make some money on it. That's what it is. That everyone just sees dollar signs, and then it separates the true gamer / collector from the fucking scalper. It's clear as day. You know, with certain things like, okay, there's people that go and scalp NES Classics. When the NES Classic came out, that shit was $79.99 at the store. Hard to get in the beginning before they re-released it. And that shit was going from $120 to $300. That shit happens all the time. I get it. It's a Nintendo product. But I just feel like they saw how much money people were asking for the 500 million sold system. And they were like, oh, look, boom, back-to-back limited editions. Let me post this up. So someone had that fucking idea. And sure enough. And then you have fucking assholes that had the God of War edition when that came out. They see, oh shit, all these limited editions are going for money, and then they post their shit up, because I just saw that as well. So it's inflating the market, which if you have a PS4 Pro, it could be a good thing in a sense, because it's going to hold its value if these limited editions are selling for a predetermined price.
You're asking for and what you're getting. That's what I would want to know.
Right. Now, if I was to even offer someone money on it, it would be nowhere near what they're going to want. So I haven't even tried. I was thinking about doing it just to post up a screenshot for the podcast to see like how a scalper reacts. But it's not even worth the trouble. It's not worth my fucking time. So if you're one of those people that are scalping a fucking PS4 Pro because you think you could get quick, easy money off the vulnerable, big fuck you to you. You know what? You could turn this podcast off right now. It's up in the corner. Which side? This side.
You don't know what side.
I don't even know what fucking side. Hit the X, the fucking whatever button, and just turn us the fuck off. All right? Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right. So within the upcoming weeks, we'll see if the price comes down. But I have a feeling it's not going to. So that's the news with that. We could talk about Spider-Man quickly if you want. I don't want to go
into it next time, but I know you don't want to get to it. For me, all I was going to talk about real quick with people is that it got a really great rating, and it's staying up there, and that's comforting. We could get into that when we get to the last topic. We talk about Tomb Raider because it's the same idea in my mind. I think that the Pro is really showcasing how good it is, and the same with the with Tomb Raider because Tomb Raider's on both. It's not exclusive,
both, right?
So Spider-Man for people that don't know. Exclusive to PS4, so I cannot play it. I do not have the Pro. I do have the One X, but
you'll get your
read
chance.
nothing that said it was great, and I'm already, you know me, I'm already leaning towards getting a Pro.
Right.
Because I might just to keep my Kingdom Hearts collection going, I might just get a Pro.
So real quick before we move into the next topic, so with Spider-Man, we had a topic last podcast about the graphics, and it turns out that was just, I don't know, maybe a mishap. Maybe they fixed it in the update. Because, you usually have to put an update.
Said anything about it. It looks great.
It's got nothing but great ratings. So if you were worried about that from last podcast, it is not even a thought in your mind at this point. It looks great. One of the things, I'm trying really hard not to watch reviews on it or spoil the storyline for myself because I want to play it in full. I did the same thing with Wolfenstein and also God of War because I wanted to do that. So, what was I going to say? So, yeah, one of the things I did see is every once in a while, you get a different suit. a different type of Spider-Man suit, and I saw some pretty cool ones glancing, and I was like, all right, stop. I can't look at it.
It's gonna be good.
I want to see it for myself. So it looks like it's a great game. It was very well made. So if you want to go and check it out, go for it, but don't buy it from a scalper or I'm going to kick you in the dick. All right.
Next.
Next. All right. So next up on the list, we get some interesting news. We always get interesting news here at the Assassin Cast.
Always.
And we're on top of our news. Even though we're a week behind, we still know. We know what's going on. We got our finger on the pulse of New York City.
People. Exactly. I got my ear to the grindstone, and I got my fucking finger on the pulse. That's how I roll. All right, people?
That's right. So it turns out that Capcom... Oh, my God,
Capcom. I didn't even know that was still around.
Well, I mean, we've been
Well,
playing.
I know they get like just that, but it blows my mind sometimes.
All right, so I know it's amazing that they've been around so long when they make stupid decisions. So that's all right. So that's a whole nother thing. All right, so it turns out this week, well, last week at this point, Yoshinori Ono, the leading man behind their fighting game division. I see you laughing. I don't know fucking Japanese.
No, I just love you pronounce that better than Keanu Reeves, and I love it. You did it the same beautiful way twice. I'm like, listen to this guy. He's like he speaks Japanese, but yet can't speak English. It's impressive.
I can't speak English, but I can speak Japanese. Hey, when it comes to our fighting games, I can speak Japanese.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I guess Keanu Reeves or Keanu.
There you go.
Keanu Reeves. All right. He is not at Capcom. But Yoshinori Ono is at Capcom, still, apparently. But he's not the leading man behind their gaming division. He has been moved to another division, and we're going to discuss why that might be. And so far, before we go into this, because I'm going to have to pull up the article because I don't remember what division they moved him to, but you're not going to believe it. First of all,
yeah, but he went from fighting, right? He was in charge of all the fighting games,
right? He was in charge of the fighting games, and now they moved him. Oh wow!
They took the Minecraft.
Wow, they took the article down. Wow. All right, so let's go into this. I guess Capcom didn't want this news floating around, so we're gonna give it to you anyway. Yeah. So, all right, so they moved into the division of like the RPGs, I want to say. I don't think it was, don't hold it to me, but more of the story-based role-playing games, that division. But it was like not the top tier. It was like the Division 2. So he had to have done, well, and this is why. So now their last two fighting games failed miserably. Miserably. Not to say that they don't have esports behind them, obviously, because esports, the fighting game side of it, not the first-person shooter, it's usually like Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom was big for a while, but that's the thing. When they did Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, that was the most recent one they did on the PS4. And I think it was on Xbox One too. I'm not sure.
I feel like fighting games are a thing of the past. But
yeah, but this is the thing. Well, it's big in esports. So these guys that are playing professionally, they stick to one game and they just try and get better and better and better so that they can win money at the end of the tournament. So the thing is, these big-time esports people, when they played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, they didn't like the fighting mechanics. They changed way too much shit, and it was kind of frowned upon in that whole community. They were like, fuck this, we're not playing this. And they all went back to Street Fighter V. So now here's the thing with Street Fighter V was they gave you an incomplete game. It was bare bones. It barely had a fucking arcade mode in it. I don't even think it had arcade mode. And then they had an online lobby. There's something to do with the online lobby was fucked up. So he botched it twice. And then it's like they had downloadable content that you can get later. But the thing is, for those esports guys, they want to have what they need to go into this tournament. You don't want to get stuff later that you're not prepared for and lose tons of money, possibly. So he fucked up the whole ball twice.
So they shipped them off to like some random division.
Right.
Like,
so he got...
You're going to go write stories for like Secrets of Mana. Like,
oh my God, right, exactly. And it's like he really got demoted. And then they moved... What sucks is... I can't pull up the article because obviously Capcom had something to say about it. They didn't want this up. They put somebody else in the lead role of the division who actually came from, I think, the first-person shooter genre. So they're kind of. I could be wrong about that. So please correct me if I am, because I would like to. Now that this article's gone, I'm not really sure, but it was someone from one of those other divisions got moved to the fighting game division. So he doesn't know shit about fighting games either.
Yeah, it could be good or bad. Brings a fresh perspective, or he just continues beating a dead horse.
Right. So now we don't
Both
really
of
know.
which I will find amazingly entertaining. So
exactly. So we will know in the upcoming years, because we'll see for the next E3, because I'm pretty sure there wasn't any fighting game related title coming from Capcom this E3. I'm
not even surprised. Like I said, I didn't even know fighting games. Like I think I have a Mortal Kombat. I don't even know why I have it.
Wait, Mortal Kombat.
On the Xbox One. Like what I mean is, like I don't really play fighting games anymore. It's just like I have Street Fighter, but
the collection, the 30.
Yeah, but I'll just play for those of old Street Fighters, but I don't even get it. Like I don't really get into it. I'll mess around with them, but when I'm playing somebody else,
right?
But I can't play those games religiously like I can play other games, like sporting games or RPGs. I can't.
Well, I mean, because it's like one and done. Unless you're playing with somebody. I
want that thing, and I went through like every single Street Fighter and beat the whole thing with Ken, and then I'm like, all right, like what else am I gonna do?
All right. I mean, that's something like if we were together playing, obviously.
Yeah, that's stuff I like to do with people. But
and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that I just picked up was it is a great game, because I was playing arcade mode, and you actually fight bosses through it, and it's a 3-person tag. It was actually done very well. So to go from that to something just terrible, the mechanics I heard were terrible on it. It's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not disgrace, but like almost like disappointing. Yeah, it was disappointing. So that's where they are at Capcom, and I'm kind of surprised that they took that down. But Capcom always plays shit close to the chest. They don't want you knowing what's going on over there, because they want to take your money. And that's what's going to happen this next time.
You're still going to buy it.
You're gonna buy it. That's what's going to happen. So, all right. But that's that. We'll leave that at that. Obviously, we're not going to get more information. So we'll see about that later. We'll see. Actually, you know what? Let's all keep an eye out for E3 and see if Capcom brings any fighting games to the table, because then we're going to laugh. All right. So that's that. Let's move on to the next topic. So we got an in-depth look at Microsoft's Xbox One X enhancements of the Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And
the game looks real good, dude.
That game looks really good. You need to. That's something you need to get. The storyline looks interesting. I mean, we didn't get too much on it. Apparently, she takes a key that starts an apocalypse. Mm-hmm. So that's the beginning storyline of it, but you don't really get to know too much.
One of the girls I work with got it on the PS4 recently and said it was like, I think she picked it up the other day and was telling me it was really good.
It's really good.
So it's like, yeah. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, do I get it? Another game to add to the collection.
Definitely. That one is worth it. And this is the reason why. So now they're going to have two different versions for Xbox One. They're going to have the One X, and then obviously the regular Xbox One version, which you're going to get a good experience in 1080p, but it's not going to be like the one for 4K. It is like incredible. They've changed a lot of different textures, though I'm pretty sure it's native 4K.
Yeah.
So but the trade-off is you're getting it native 4K, but it's at a steady 30 frames per second. So it has its good and bad. Now, to me, if the game runs flawlessly at 30 frames per second, I'd rather take that over an unstable 60 frames per second.
True, but it makes me, again, we get back into the argument me and you have a lot, like where the consoles just can't keep up. They need to think of that. They need to legitimately think about letting us just add shit to it.
Right, and that's
why wouldn't you do that? Where you can make imagine telling you that we could not even bring it in, like you could just do it on your own and add in it has to be an Xbox piece or whatever that fits into it. I mean, I'm sure people will find ways to
right,
to jerry rig it, but still, you'd be able to connect and add, say, a new graphics card to it.
Well, that's the thing.
Buy it for $150. I don't know.
So we got one more year so far of these generations of consoles before we see what's coming next.
What's this next gen?
Obviously, if next gen has no way to update or upgrade your console, then it's going to have to be strictly PC from that point forward. Yeah. I mean, you could maybe...
But then they have these exclusive games that you can't even see, That's how they get you, too. It's incredible.
It's tough.
You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man, somebody be like, all right, I have a monster of a computer system. I want to play it.
Right.
I can't.
I mean, but you never know. That's what hackers are for, because we're not going to be the only ones that feel this way, and you never know. It could be emulation for a monster PC that could do it. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, what they've been doing with emulation the last couple weeks has been pretty incredible, actually. There's always something going on. One of the things that didn't make it to the topic list this week was the Poly Mega. It's like a system that would probably be good for you, Dan. You buy a base system that emulates 4 CD-based systems, and then you buy other attachments that click onto it, and you could do Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis. And supposedly, the reason I brought this up was their emulation for Sega Saturn is supposed to be really good. And there is no good emulation for Sega Saturn. So we'll see how that comes. Right. We'll see how that goes within the next upcoming weeks. And
I would like that. I think I told you that. Like, it's cool to have like every system. It would be cool, but I wouldn't want to have like 10 systems laying around like my place, trying to figure out where to put them. So I like the idea of having for those retro games, like just bang anything I want to play. Like I could think of remembering, like, oh man, I always want to play this. Oh, okay. Sometimes I like to get like that's what I like to play.
Right.
Because those games I could beat in 20, 30 hours. I'm not,
Exactly. It's like you
I'm not doing like I did to beat the Kingdom Hearts, the original Kingdom Hearts. I think I just had to put in like 67 hours to beat it.
That's crazy.
And that's for me to beat everything. Like I did everything. And I was resetting it and shit like when I was dying and stuff.
Because you want to have a good ending, right?
Yeah, I wanted everything.
I mean, we got a little off topic, but
that's all right. Yeah, but
it's all right.
I think it looks from what I read and all the articles and everything I looked at, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it looks phenomenal. And like you said, you can still play 1080p. People are still doing it. People don't give a shit. I had a brother who I still laugh at texted me one time. I talked about Madden, and he said, is there really that much of a difference? And it blows my mind. But, I mean, to a layman, no. If I showed it to 2 different people, maybe not. They might not even care. But then there are people like, yeah, you could see. When I could see the reflection inside the pool of water, that's something.
Right.
That's what you're doing. Like you just want the immersions in these games to be even better. So
another thing is 30 frames per second isn't the end of the world.
That scares me, though. I agree with them. It does scare me. 30's pretty weak.
30 is weak.
You're not like the thing I always remember. Like because if I played on a PC and I was playing online, like that'd be awful.
Right.
Awful. However, this game is not being played online. I'm being playing on my own on the console. 30 frames probably going to run.
If it's stable
pretty much
and
flawless.
Steady, right? Yeah. And you're going to get it native 4K. It's going to look.
It's going to run flawless. It is. But then you are losing a little bit in it, but still, it's better than 1080.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's going to be better than 1080. And you know what? For you retro heads, this upcoming podcast, we're going to talk about the OSSC scan converter. To be able to play some retro systems, and we'll give a comparison of why you would buy something like a Poly Mega that could do HDMI or an OSSC for original hardware. We'll do that next week because that's a long topic.
Because we'll get the 2 of us going back and forth. We have different views on what we both do this differently, and I'm sure people picked up on that by now.
Exactly. So the whole thing is with Tomb Raider, you're getting a native 4K signal, but it's 30 frames per second. It is enhanced.
That's the first one I can think big name that's going native 4K. So it'll be interesting. I tell you, that's like it was already pinging in my brain when I read an article recently that I wanted to get it.
Right. I mean, it's gonna be something nice. So if you're gonna check it out, we've already brought up Shadow of the Tomb Raider in a previous podcast. Yep. They have a whole bunch of limited editions. So if you want to go and check out one of our older podcasts, we go in depth about it. I think it was like number 8 or 10, one in between. We could check that out. We go in depth on the different things you get for the collector's editions if that's something you're interested in. So that's it for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And our last topic, Nintendo. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, what are you doing over there, Nintendo?
We don't know what to fucking do with you these days, honestly. All right, so our last topic of this week's Assassin Cast is a leak of the week. And this time it's coming straight from Nintendo itself, all right? They made a mistake, and we got a title of the next Yoshi IP. And it's called Yoshi's Crafted World.
You know what that sounds like to me, don't you?
What does it sound like?
That sounds like you're playing Yoshi and you're playing Minecraft at the same time. And that scares me, but I know it'll be huge if it does that. That scares me.
Okay, so now that's the thing. So it's supposed to be. I can't pull up these articles for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because we're a week behind. But all right, so it's supposed to be this. So Nintendo makes a mistake. I forget what they did. I think they put it up on one of their websites in a different country by accident. And then it was a screenshot. So somebody got to see a screenshot of what it looks like. And I think I saw it myself. You have it. It looks like paper mache, like paper, like almost like Paper Mario.
Dude, it looks like Minecraft.
It looks kind of like Minecraft. It really does. And now this is the thing, okay? You got Yoshi's Woolly World. It was all yarn. Now you got this handcrafted bullshit for Yoshi. Are they destroying this IP? Let's be real. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why do we need Yoshi hand-drawn looking like Minecraft? Or Yoshi that's a thing of wool? Like, just give us Yoshi. Regular Yoshi, like, fucking, you know...
It's my boy, too. I used to love Yoshi.
I don't get it. I don't get why they keep doing this to Yoshi. You know, it's like, how many times are you gonna... Like, I get being innovative and making something new. I mean, this is a new IP for the Switch. So it's going to be a brand new game made for the Switch, which I'm happy about because they're getting a whole bunch of remakes. They're getting all these
a
ports.
lot of them, yeah.
They're all ports to the Switch, and to me, that's not really showing me what the Switch is capable of doing. You're giving us ports so that people continue to buy the Switch, continue to talk about the Switch, but you're not showing me what the Switch is capable of. We just had the PS4 drop Spider-Man, which looks fucking incredible. Like, do something like that so we could see how powerful it can be. Or, I mean, maybe there's just shit in development. Maybe they were trying to stay relevant, and that's why they keep hitting us with ports and stuff like that. Supposedly, 2K19 basketball, NBA 2K19, it's supposed to be a good-looking game. It could compare to the Xbox, but not as well. Right? And it's like the file size for your Switch, you have to delete everything to even have that game on your Switch. So it's like, I could see that there's stuff in development there. They're trying to get things to work right. But then it's like, you're giving us this IP. You leak of the week. The leak of the week from you is a handcrafted Yoshi. It's like, you're not showing me with Minecraft graphics of what the Switch is going to do. It's not blowing me away. Like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Switch is ever meant to do that. I'm not going to lie. I don't think they'll ever... We always said it was like the stepchild, you know, to the PS4 and Microsoft.
Exactly.
So Sony and Microsoft, but I don't think they're going to be able to. It's just you're going to get... Nintendo's going to grab you for those nostalgic games. It's going to look good. Like Mario Kart on my brother's QLED. My brother-in-law's QLED looks good.
Yeah.
Mario Tennis looks good. It's not bad, but it's just not like when I brought over my 1X to him and we put on the Call of Duty World War II.
It's a different world.
We both just sat there like, what? Like, this is incredible.
It's like you're in another fucking world.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm behind Nintendo. I mean, I've had Nintendo all my life. I hope they really put it together, figure out what they need to do to make this work. Like, maybe they could do something with the dock, where if you dock your Switch on the dock, it'll be, you know, it'll give you some extra power or storage, something. Just do
the storage
something.
is brutal.
So, I mean, that's where we're at with it.
But even the Xbox One X doesn't have as much as people really think. Like, I have a bunch of my retro 360 games, but I can't download them all in.
Exactly.
I got to play them as I want to play them. Like, I have enough room still. I could probably put like 20 games on there, but they force you to download the game.
Exactly. So
they don't read off the disc anymore. And now you got like a terabyte on there, but I'm taking up like 50, 60 gigs per game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So think about that's 20 games, give or take. Like that I could fit onto my Xbox. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people probably like, oh, you guys complain you can't put 20 games, but I'm talking if I bring my 360 games. So I have a couple I wanted to see what they did when they updated it to 4K. Like I have one Dragon Age Origins over here, and yeah, I was like, oh god, like do I want to download this? Because then I'm just gonna have to delete it.
Right. You're gonna delete it, delete your save. That's kind of shitty. So. Yep. You know, I get where that's coming from, but that's the problem with these high-end AAA games. They take up a lot of space. A Blu-ray holds about 80 gigs of memory. So for them to rip it from the disc doesn't make sense to me. But the thing about it is they want to do away with physical media. We know that. There's heads like us and probably our viewers that are all about physical media. We want to have that shit forever, but that's not how it's going to be. That's not how it's going to be.
You're gonna download it. Like they'll just give you a monster hard drive on your thing, and you're just downloading them.
Right. And
Every time you want to play them, you download it, then it gets rid of it. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Right. And as for the Switch, the problem with that is you don't have enough space, and I don't know. The only thing they got in their corner is it's a handheld in a market where there is none. So they got a strong following with it also. So we'll see what happens, but so far their leak of the week was not good. This wasn't something I was excited for. I think they're going to botch this IP, and we won't see Yoshi for a while. I mean, you got the diehard fans out there, but I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm sure there's other people that feel the same. So that's it, really. That's where we're at for the week of September 9th.
The guys looked at his phone real quick to make sure you got it right.
Yep, I got it. All right. So that's where we're at for the week of September 9th. That podcast went kind of fast, I feel like. Holy shit.
A little bit.
Hey, we're moving and grooving.
This guy was missing it. He was missing it. He almost wants to do 2 weeks just to feel his void.
Yeah, I need it. I need the podcast going. You know what? I was actually thinking we might do a different format, and me and Dan will talk about that. Maybe we'll bring it up next podcast. So what are you playing?
Pretty much me. I just finished Kingdom Hearts 1. I went to load up 2 and was like, all right, I need a second. Because I just can't go straight from that to that. So I went back and I was kicking some ass in Madden, setting it up. But yeah, I was a little more gung-ho in Madden until the Jets lost today. Now I'm a little angry.
Yeah, you're like, oh, fuck Madden. I'm not playing shit.
But now, I mean, my brain's whirling. Like, it really is. Like, I really didn't get into Wolfenstein, but I really didn't give it a shot. I didn't give it. I was still, when I got that, I was still in the middle.
Right.
With Kingdom Hearts, so I wanted to finish that first, but now that Shadow of the Tomb Raider has got in my brain where I think I might, the more I read about it, I might go grab it.
You know what the thing is with Wolfenstein, you're not really into it because of the look of it, I feel like. You're just like...
A little, but I honestly, I won't hate. I have not given it its due, like, attention. I really haven't. Like,
listen, it's the storyline that got me. Yeah. You know, the storyline is great.
Time playing it sometimes. I just don't have the time.
Right, that's another thing. It's sometimes, a good 40 hours or 60
It's gonna get cold out here in New York for us soon. Like I'm not gonna be able to fish. I'm gonna work. It's gonna snow, or there's like I do stuff and then I'm just stuck. So yeah, I'm sure I'll go through this.
You'll give it. Right now, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2. I'm going back through the storyline. I don't know if I'm gonna finish the trilogy right away. I'm almost done with it. And then I've also been playing a little Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Still trying to practice it.
I'm not practicing. I just like to do the arcade every once in a while just to kill some time. And there was something else I was playing. I forgot. Oh, I actually put in Tomb Raider, but I'm not sure, like the first Tomb Raider for PS3.
PS3, yeah.
Yeah, so I have
the original on PS1?
Yeah, I have the complete collection. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 and then Revelations are on PS1. So yeah, I have the whole collection.
That one way back in the day.
Right, maybe we'll pull that up one of these days. But I'm actually I put in Resident Evil Code Veronica. This is a little side story, and I fucking hate those tank controls. I really do. Yeah. It's such a turnoff after being spoiled with these first-person shooters. It's just bad. I don't know, but I'm hopefully gonna give it another try for PS2. That's really it. I mean, I'm waiting to get on the Pro. There is some stuff in my backlog I really need to get to. So
I'll believe it when I see the Pro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, once I get the Pro, that's it. PS3's going to storage. No. I can't. I got way too much stuff on my backlog. Oh, and Assassin's Creed 3, I promise I will get back to it. I need to be in the mood for it, and I'm not right now. The control scheme that they changed to me kind of threw me off. After playing a trilogy one way, you kind of don't want them to change the controls that drastically.
Yep.
So I will get back to it because I want to continue the storyline before I get to Odyssey, because I'm going to get Odyssey. That's definitely happening. But that's really it for me. Oh, another thing is I picked up something for my phone. So I don't know about you Android users out there, but I just got recently the Galaxy 9. This is it right here. It's a great phone. I have a lot of storage because it's expandable memory. And I was browsing on the train on one of our commutes home, and I saw this thing. It was about $30 from Amazon. It's called Next Dex. And what happens is you plug it into your HDMI port, and then you plug the adapter into your phone charger port, and it makes your Android, your Samsung, a complete desktop computer. Yeah, it's very interesting. So now, what I thought about it when I read it, I was like, wait a minute. My phone even does that? I was like, I had no idea. It's called Samsung Dex. It's its own program. And it runs like a full desktop computer. It's really interesting. So what I was like, oh, wow, that's great because I have expandable memory and I have 256 gigs on my phone. So I was like, that's like having a full computer. I was like, all right, $30, can't go wrong. So I picked that up. I've been really good with picking up games. I haven't picked up anything in a little bit now.
That's fair. No, you guys can't see it if you're not only listening. He's twitching.
I know. I need to
buy something.
I need to buy something now. I'm holding off till I think after Christmas. My next purchase is going to be a twin Famicom. I really want that. You know, with the disc system slot, I really want that shit very bad. Sharp twin Famicom. That's on my list of things to buy. But for now, I'm really good. And there's also something that we should talk about next week for the Dreamcast. It replaces the CD drive, and you could use a micro SD. Oh, no, not micro SD, a regular SD card.
Really?
Yeah, no loading times. You don't have to... I think it even has storage for saves. Actually, don't hold that to me. I think you still need the VMU that goes in the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can have your whole collection on an SD card, stick it in, and you're not utilizing your drive anymore. You take the CD drive completely out, and
that's the thing that was causing the most problems with them. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've held up for the most part, but if you have a working Dreamcast and the CD drive works, why stress it more? You're better off getting that, doing it on SD, and putting your actual CD drive into storage. That's what I was thinking. So I'm thinking about picking one of those up also before I put my Dreamcast back in storage because I haven't yet. The one from the Expo, I haven't put it back in. So I was like, hey, before I do it, I might as well. And if you want to know the real reason of why I don't have the Pro yet, it's because I haven't built a cabinet.
You're not allowed to get one?
I'm not allowed to get one until I clean up the entertainment center. So I have to build the cabinet first. So that's it. That's where we're at. That's the week for September 9th. Fucking A. All right, so I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by the one and only Daniel McCarthy. We're signing out.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace, bitches.